Hello there, everybody. I see you have your backstage passes, so hey, it's cool for them to be back here for dress rehearsal. Now, don't mind the unskinny bop outfit that I am dressed in, or the fact that my hair is teased up to the heavens, because that's how I like to do it here when we're going to... Alright, getting good in your neighborhood. The series that runs as frequently as Idris Elba playing DCS Lufa, but whose agenda remains as elusive as to who exactly is number one on the island, because you are number 6, and I am number 2. Now, before we get into this doozy of a match, and I will not spoil how it ends, though I know at least one of you out there was in this match, so you already know. And what's up with these get good videos always having a ship run into me at the beginning? Oh well. The first 5 minutes of this match are relatively slow to take off, so I can jibber jabber in the meantime. But first, let me put the commander and modules I'm using on this match up so you can see. And it's Andre Roux, pretty much doing my usual, agile, but also kind of speedy blend. You know, I don't go full agility because I like to have more speed. And I like to start and stop, so that's why I'm using the prop mod and not the double rudders. I was trying this out with double rudders, but the concealment is just so bad that I ended up going back with the concealment mod, and it's still pretty agile, though obviously not as much as like Hipper's full agility build. Anyway, while this first third of the match kind of slogs along while my destroyer goes on a 3-hour tour, let's talk about this boat. Is it OP, or is it just fine? Does it change up the tier? Does it do anything? Well, the basic argument is going to come down to its rate of fire and its armor. For those of you unfamiliar, on the PC side of things, this ship is much more lightly armored. I don't think it's quite at Minotaur levels, but it is not much above that. Whereas here, it is covered in 32 millimeters, which means it is capable of bouncing any battleship AP shell that isn't the Yamato. And that is huge. And since this is a game, I'm not really going to argue how realistic that is, but that's battleship level bow armor, which, yeah. However, on PC, there's a skill you can apply that is called IFHE, which is the equivalent of our equilibrium of power, which would allow these HE shells to penetrate more surfaces. These are only 127 millimeters after all. But none of our French commanders have equilibrium of power, which means most of your HE shells you fire are just going to shatter. They can and will start fires, but it has a base fire chance of, I believe, 7%. And I think if you go all in on that, you may be able to get it up to around 10 or maybe a little bit over. And that's really the whole argument. Is our lack of realistic damage output high enough to justify giving it more armor? But there are some really big weaknesses with this ship that I think once people learn to exploit, the pitchforks may be set down. And I'm not talking about that thin rectangle of armor on its butt. First weakness is the turrets. Anything, and I mean anything, will break them. Even destroyer guns can disable them. Next weakness, it has a gigantic superstructure. That thing is so thick that bow on, if you aim up into it, you'll get full penetrations. And when you only have 36,000 health, a few full pins and you'll be in Davy Jones's locker. And its last big weakness, its armor. Yes, the bow is 32 millimeters, but that is only bow in. If there is any side being shown, then anything can hit its raised citadel. Anything. Again, even destroyers. So to help combat that, it does have 3 heals, though with my setup I have 4. And they aren't great heals, but with 4 of them it is probably about half your health you can recover. So, is that balanced or is it balanced? That is the question that I guess the spreadsheet will dictate. Now, Ouija have already alluded to the fact that it will be adjusted before it's officially brought into the game, but I'll be honest, in my opinion, I don't think it really needs all that much. I just think the player base needs a little bit of time fighting against them to figure out how to counter it. I mean, it doesn't have torps, so it's not going to rush a battleship and sink them that way. And it only has 127 millimeter guns, so it's not going to be doing much damage beyond the fires and the AP if it catches you broadside. But again, that's so low caliber. If you wanted to Citadel a Stalingrad, you'd have to be like 1.5 kilometers away from it. And I mean, what are the chances of that even happening? Cue dramatic music. Foreshadowing jerk? So, I've been playing it quite a bit, and I've been dev struck a few times. It isn't always an instant explosion like with the Minotaur, but it is definitely doable. And I've been taking out the Stalingrad as well, because these past few days there are actually a lot of cruisers out there in Legendary tier, and I definitely find it quite blappable. I can see why if you only play battleships you'd be more annoyed with, oh great, another HE spammer, but is it a better HE spammer than what you already run into? I don't think so. I think Ochakov, Cleveland, Wusta, Suzuya, Kutuzov, Chapayev, they all do the same thing, and probably better. It's not like the lobbies will suddenly no longer be 5 battleship matches, and if they should become full of these light cruisers, well then just take out the Alaska or Stalingrad and you will be laughing with glee the entire time. So in my opinion, all this 32mm plating does is give you a bit more carry potential. Yes, there will be some players who will just camp behind an island for 15 minutes to get their 300,000 damage and a loss, in which case they don't need the armor anyway. But then there are players like myself whose idea of fun is getting right up in the middle of it and trying to find a way to win. So I guess that's my way of saying that I like this ship. I think I like it more than Minotaur, but neither of them do I see becoming my most played ship. No, we'd need Legendary tier heavy cruisers for that. Well, patch notes next week. Alright, all of that out of the way so we can get to this match because the excitement is about to begin. First, we are going to hydro spot this Shima and remove them for our first ship sunk, bonk, and we will finish getting this cap and then figure out what we are going to do. Our own Shima is still on their 3-hour tour around the south of the map. I believe we have an Alaska and Montana up to the north, so I'm going to try and cap B to equalize the team's income of points while continuing to harass this Montana, who is trying to team up with their teammates. You'll also see I don't have that much damage right now, just a little bit over 63,000, and only about 5 fires and 150 shells hit. So it's not the most insane fire starter, though I am sure this Montana is feeling differently right about now. However, we know fire damage is healable, and there is the fight fire with fire perk, so let's not act like these big boys are entirely helpless. Is it a pain in the rear? I am sure it is. In this entire sequence, I've done, or am about to do, about 45,000 damage to that Montana, which is about half of its health. But they haven't fired at me. Now, some of that was me using the Shima smoke to not be spotted at the beginning, but I believe they've had just about enough of me, so once I see that I am starting to be targeted, I need to be on my toes. I see that I'm targeted right there. I'm looking for the shells to come out. There they are, turn in, and I'm actually going to bounce those. Got lucky right there, but it does reset the cap. So here I am stuck because now our Alaska's down, our Montana's down, and it's just me and our friendly Shima against 4 red ships who have a 300 point lead. Oh, make that us versus 3 red ships who still have about a 300 point lead. So what to do here? Well, first, of course, I need this Shima to spot for me, and I need to finish getting this cap. So the Shima is spotting the Montana right there. Let's try and reverse a little bit and get some more shells going over there. It's worth mentioning, this is one of the reasons I have put on the prop mod. The Colbert is a little slow to get going or to reverse. Once at full speed, obviously, it's quite speedy. But getting going, it leaves a little bit to be desired. So I'm trying to get to a point where I can actually get these shells over. And I think right now is actually when I can get... And, of course, Montana dropped spot. Well, I need intelligence data. So, hopefully the Shima's going to spot them for me again. There they are. Let's get a couple more shots over. And we can see Montana's healed up quite a bit. It looks like they're at about 20,000 health right there. Maybe 25,000 health. And we do get a fire. They are spotted. But look, still getting mostly shatters. Not huge damage on the actual shells. I do switch over to AP right there because they are broadside. Nice blind fire, but not nice enough. Here comes some torps, so I'm thinking maybe the destroyer's headed... Oh my god. Well, folks, this is going to be the end of me because there is no way that a Colbert can take on a Stalingrad. Wait a minute, weren't we foreshadowing something earlier? Alright, let me go over my thinking right here, because you're probably thinking, jerk, why are you in reverse? You will never be able to burn that Stalingrad down. And you are right. And the HE on here can't even really pin anywhere on the Stalingrad except maybe in the superstructure, maybe get a fire. But the reason I am reversing is because I want to get my AP into play. And if I can get close enough, even though they're 127 millimeters, we might be able to do the unthinkable and take out a Stalingrad. Oh boy, I think this player has learned an important lesson, and I know that the Montana on the other team was like, what the heck just happened? Now, in the meantime, there goes my teammate, so the only way to win this is to sink all the other ships. My Hydro is good to go. So, let's go push their destroyer and see if we can't get them to make a mistake. Now, my plan here was to go directly at the battleship, be engaging them, and hope that their destroyer would start shooting at me with a false sense of security and then take them out real quick. But as it is, I'm actually going to get spotted, so I'm going to put on my Hydro and just keep barreling in this way, because there's only so many places that the Shima can be, and it's probably directly in front of me considering where I was spotted. So there they are. We're going to go ahead and get that shut off and take them out, and then dodge what the torps that we assume are coming in here. And you see, I switched immediately over to AP, because I'm guessing that this Montana has all of their guns facing me, because they know exactly where I'm coming from. And let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, there they are. Watch these shells. Alright, so one of them hit my superstructure, actually took out my gun. The other bounced off the bow. The Montana has a 30-second reload, so let's get all this AP going as fast as we possibly can. And boy, look at this French machine gun go. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I know. Alright, scoreboard. 3,784 XP for a very good game, and nicely done to both teams. GG's and firm handshakes. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. All of you BB mains, leave a comment telling me how you would like this ship nerfed, and if you would accept French commanders getting equilibrium of power in exchange. I bet you wouldn't. Or any other ways that you'd like it tweaked, but you have to give something for an exchange. Them's the rules. Give this video a like if you wanna, a dislike if you don't wanna, hit subscribe if you wanna see more. I will get back out there for another one soon, and we will talk then.